Hey, I'm Dietec, and I like to modify computers, and a large part of modding PCs is using vinyl to create stencils to help with painting or to create decals just to stick onto something, make it look cool. And I know a lot of PC modders, including myself, like to use a vinyl cutter to help with that process because cutting out a vinyl sticker by hand could take hours and hours depending on the amount of detail you're trying to get. And a vinyl cutter can do it in about 3 minutes. So if you're trying to get into PC modding or you want to make a lot of vinyl stickers for whatever reason, maybe you want to stick them onto your car or something, then a vinyl cutter is just one of those tools that you really want to consider having. It just improves your quality of life with whatever kind of projects you're doing immensely. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me to make a kind of like video walkthrough on how to use the vinyl cutter that I use so that they can decide whether they think it's worth it to get one themselves. So hopefully that's what this video can be. I'm going to be showing you what the silhouette portrait comes with, how to set it up, how to use the software involved, and how to come out with an end result with a vinyl sticker. Now, even though I'm showing you how to use the portrait in this video, the cameo works exactly the same way, so if you decide to get the slightly larger one, you can still use this video to help kind of like set it up and everything. And I'll leave a couple links in the description of this video to all of the stuff that I'm using in case you want to get it yourself. So what you actually get out of the box when you order this thing is a data cable, which connects your computer to your portrait and just tells your portrait what kind of designs you're trying to print out. A power cable, which just gives your portrait power. You have to plug that into a wall. This is a blade that you have to put into your portrait. This is the mat that you put your vinyl on top of when it feeds through the portrait. And this is the portrait cutter itself. And the blade actually just goes into this little holder on the side of this motor right here. And actually, before you do that, there are these numbers here that correspond to the different depths at which this blade will cut, depending on the different materials that you're trying to cut. I cut vinyl, so I keep mine on 2, and that's pretty much where I just keep it forever because I only ever cut vinyl. So once you have your setting, you can just put it into the little holder and turn this little switch right here, which holds it in place, and that's all you have to do. So once you have your blade installed, you just want to plug it in. So the plugs are here on the side of the machine. The data goes into this jack and the power goes into this jack. And then obviously this connects to a USB port on your computer, and this connects to a wall outlet. So now that we have all the hardware taken care of, we have to get the software that controls the machine. So you just Google Silhouette Studio and go to the downloads page and grab that. Then when you open it up, you should see a screen kind of like this. There's a few different ways you can change the layout of the screen, what with making the grid smaller or larger, and you can choose if you have the portrait or the cameo here in the design page settings. And also, if you come up here to the Silhouette tab, you'll be able to connect your machine wirelessly via Bluetooth. But that's only if you got the newer versions of these products like the Cameo 3. Now we need to find an image that we want to cut out of vinyl, so I'm just going to search something up on Google, pick one of these pictures, and save it to your computer. Now to get your picture into the actual software, you can go to File and then Open and find it in the directories and press Open and everything, or you can just grab it and drag it into the application like I did. Then, of course, with this little tool right here, you can kind of manipulate it and drag it around, resize it, kind of just make it go in whatever direction you want. And if you regret what you did, you can just go to Edit, Undo, and it'll go back a step or two. Pretty standard stuff for this kind of editing software. Once you have something you think you like, you can go to the trace icon and select Trace Area, and just drag the box over whatever you're trying to trace. Then there's some settings here you kind of have to mess with. I usually turn off the high and low pass filter and kind of mess with the threshold until the yellow shows up kind of where I want it to. You can think of the yellow area as like the sticker that you're going to cut out. Then you press trace, it traces it on there, and at this point you don't need your picture anymore, so you can just go ahead and delete it just to see the lines that you've traced. Then you can just go to print and obviously make sure your machine is on, otherwise you'll get this error here. And of course, before you press start, you actually have to load a piece of vinyl into it. The Silhouette portrait only cuts to 8 inches wide, and usually when you buy vinyl sheets, they come 12 inches wide, so you might have to cut off a little bit off of the end just to be able to fit it inside of the cutting area. Then you just put your vinyl on top of the cutting mat and press the little feed button so that it feeds a little bit into the machine, and then you can just press start and it'll cut out your design. Once it's all printed out, you can take a knife or a razor and get rid of the excess vinyl, and then you're going to need either some transfer paper or some painter's tape just to get your vinyl off of the sheet that it's originally attached to and onto whatever it is you're trying to make pretty. Transfer paper is really easy to use. You just stick it right on there and then peel it off along with the vinyl. Then you put it on whatever and peel off the transfer paper while leaving the vinyl behind. If you don't have any transfer paper and don't feel like spending the money on it, you can just use painter's tape and have the same exact effect. You just won't be able to see through your painter's tape as well as you would be able to with transfer paper, so it might be a little bit harder to line up your design. So that's pretty much the basic overview of what this thing's capable of. Obviously, vinyl plays a huge part in PC modding. I mostly use it to make stencils for painting PC cases, but you could also just make decals and just stick them straight on there. Or you could even use it in conjunction with something like Armor Etch to etch tempered glass. I mean, there's really a lot of applications where a tool like this would be useful, but when it comes to PC modding, I have used this thing in literally every single PC mod that I've done ever since I've got it, so I suggest it. Anyway, if you thought this video was helpful and you want to see more videos on PC modding related things, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.